Welcome back to another edition of Nerds by Culture. I am the host, I guess, of this situation, Sean.
One of the hosts.
You can't be all of the hosts.
I mean, I'm kind of like the MC. Like, I can kind of keep us organized, keep us along a track.
Whatever you say, Sean.
Kind of been my role.
When we had news, Sean. For those who don't know, we no longer have a news segment.
And now we have Joaquin, who I'm probably going to take his mic because I'm getting tired of holding this thing already.
You can if you feel so compelled. But this is me, Joaquin Abe Romero. If you've been listening to Two Men Rambling, then you know.
He's the one of the two.
He's one of the two men.
One of the two men rambling.
I am the second man rambling. Chib, the 23-year-old, 23 and me.
How does it feel to be 23?
It feels old. I feel old.
Oh, shut up.
I feel old.
Coming from the old man in the corner.
I can't do what I used to do.
23.
It was nice to be 23 2 years ago.
Shut up. Go to work.
Go to work.
It's a birthday that literally does not matter to anyone but your family.
I guess you're right.
Like, I go by the Patton Oswalt birthday system. 0 to...
Wait, who's Patton Oswalt?
Patton Oswalt is a hilarious comedian, and he believes that for birthdays, you get to celebrate 0 to 10. Mm-hmm. 10, huge birthday, because now you're double digits, something's different. 11, 12, who cares? 13,
You're
birthday,
a
you're a teenager, something's different. 15, who cares? There's 16, great birthday.
Okay.
You know, now you can drive. 18, awesome birthday, because you can now buy a gun, you can now vote. As he put it, you should get a ballot with a bullet through it. 20, big birthday, something's different again. 21, awesome birthday. And then that's it. You get nothing for 9 years. 30, birthday every 10 years until you're 100. And then when you're 100, you can basically break one law a year. Like at 101, anything you can, pick up and carry with you is yours. Because if you can steal something from somebody, it wasn't really theirs to begin with if a 100-year-old person can take it from them. So.
Wow, I guess that's definitely a new way to look at that. Also, why didn't he mention 25? Because at 25, you can rent a car.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Well, if you're going to take a cross-country trip around the United States, you can.
You can rent a car at 18. You just have to pay an extra fee.
Who's trying to pay that fee, though?
That's true.
I'm not trying to pay that fee.
You're not a whole adult.
Oh, yeah. None of you can rent a car.
I can. What are you talking about? I can't.
You can rent a car now.
I mean, I rented a car at 24, technically. So I guess I might have just
So you
broken my
paid
own
the
rule.
fee.
I don't know.
So this discussion is meaningless. You paid the fee. Like,
I guess I lost.
as the only, as the elder statesman of the group,
he's a wizard.
It's cool. It's cool to be 23. Enjoy 23. 23 was a great year for me. I had a lot of fun. I don't know how much fun you're having because you're in med school, but have as much fun as possible. Live it up.
I had a lot of fun on my birthday, so
good shit. But let's get on to this nerd shit, guys.
Yeah, right.
It's been a minute.
It has.
It's been a minute.
It's been like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just counting out loud.
It's been a solid month.
Yeah. A month or two.
So
a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah, a month and a half. So what's everybody watching? What's everybody's been on lately? What are you reading? What's
Chib,
up?
what are you? I mean, I felt like we talked about it a little bit
I
last
know,
week,
yeah.
but...
Has a lot changed since last week? No, I'm all caught up on My Hero.
Ooh.
So that's sensational.
Manga or the anime?
Oh, I don't have the patience to read.
Okay.
I don't even know if I can read
I get
anymore.
it.
Yeah. Well, don't say that if you're going to be a doctor.
Yeah, I know that concerns me.
He's not going to be a doctor, y'all.
I just watch videos on how to save people, and then I go
Kids watching videos on how to save people like, I don't have the patience to read that chart. Give me 20 minutes. Okay, so YouTube says I should cut here.
You can find anything on YouTube, yo. I found a leg amputation on YouTube. Did you know that they have leg amputations on YouTube?
I did not.
I did not know that.
But now you know.
I don't want to be at any hospital Chip is working. I'm concerned.
You go back to Colorado afterwards, right?
Nope, I'm going to be right here.
Oh, man.
All of y'all will see me every single day in the hospitals.
Well, I just make sure to ask what you specialize in.
Oh, everything.
You can't do that.
I know.
Anyways, so you caught up on My Hero.
I started to watch Attack on Titan.
There you go.
Because the season 3, because I think the season's almost over, and I don't like to wait a week and then, especially with a show that's as suspenseful as Attack, I like to have all my stuff ready to go. But I had just like binged all of My Hero, and I was reading subtitles. I guess I do read. I just read subtitles.
All right, cool.
Speed reader.
It's hard. And I was just so exhausted.
You think?
I thought it was pretty hard.
No, I think
like every third dialogue is what I catch. Everything else in the middle is like I can't.
It's not moving that fast.
I read very slowly.
Well, I mean, I think we need to acknowledge that reading subtitles is kind of a skill that you gain over years of doing it. So it's easy for us because, I've been watching Kung Fu movies since I was a little kid. Like that's the first thing you learn to do. You're like, all right. So
gotta read the lips sometimes.
The lips don't...
Okay, whatever. And the animated show, that helps.
Yeah.
The mouth is just doing literally this.
No.
You know, one of these open, close. But, so Attack on Titan, My Hero. You reading any American comics?
No, I've taken a break from American comics.
How dare you, sir?
I'm sorry. I just needed a break. Just
it's
facts.
It's a lot to keep up with.
But I got for my birthday the first 4 volumes of Monster.
Okay.
So I'm excited to read that in English.
Right. As opposed to Japanese?
As opposed to Japanese, because I can't read or understand Japanese.
All right, Joaquin, what do you got for us?
I've been having another watch through of My Hero.
Another?
Yeah, this is my second watch through.
Dang.
Actually, I guess my third, because I watched the first season maybe like 2 years ago, and then I watched this all the way up till like the provisional test, maybe like last month, and then I was just like, all right, I got nothing else to do, so I guess I'll just watch it again. So, I guess my third watch through.
Nice.
And yes, for reading, just One Piece, My Hero. For those who haven't heard of these yet, I highly recommend them. Dr. Stone and the Promised Neverland. I think they're both very good shows.
Wait, Dr. Stone?
Not shows. Manga.
Space. The Promised Neverland or Dr. Stone?
No,
Space.
Two separate things.
Two separate things.
Okay.
So, Jib, I know you've never heard of these two.
I'm
Dr.
sorry.
Stone, that's all right. Dr. Stone, basically about world out of nowhere. One day, everyone turns to stone, but then some people are kind of brought back.
One of them a doctor.
One of them is a scientist.
Oh.
So he's trying to fast forward the world, and that's effectively now in the Stone Age. However billion of years to kind of
the Stone Age.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah.
So they kind of he's using science to kind of get them all the way. Of course, there's a bunch of other things in the whack, but that's kind of like the premise. And then the Promised Neverland, we basically have
Peter Pan.
You wish.
No.
think about Peter Pan, but a little more twisted.
I like that. I like
that's
twisted.
actually.
But I mean, they're still kids. That's my point.
Because Peter Pan is a character who never Peter Pan is not even I think the Neverland they're talking about is they're promising that these characters are eventually going to reach adoption. But yeah, give them the premise.
Oh, I was about to let you do it because you look like you're ready. You had your hat on.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of just what I've been reading, like Joaquin, I'm not up to date on the Promised Neverland. I read the first volume of Dr. Stone. I read the first volume of Promised Neverland. Promised Neverland is basically, it's not a typical shonen manga in the sense of you're gonna have kids actually fighting the bad guys, but it's much closer to Death Note in that it's a cat and mouse story of these kids who are raised in this really idyllic orphanage. They've never seen the outside world, and then one day they find out that they're being raised as food, as livestock for demons.
Oh, okay.
So the whole premise of the story is that these kids are like, oh, this is what really going on? We need to get the fuck out of here. And then it kind of follows the story of several of the kids, the older kids who are like, how we getting out of this, and like the twists and turns that come with that, the betrayals, the like, it's a great character study. It's a great story so far. It's, you know, really rising up popularity charts. Anime is coming soon.
Yes.
The artwork ebbs and flows. We can definitely say that.
It's nothing to write home about, but it's definitely.
There's times where it's really great, but there's times where it's
for what they're doing. I think it's done well enough.
And then
I will say too, before you continue on your list, when the anime comes out, I highly recommend both of you watch it. Just because I'm all the way caught up, and just the things that happen, I didn't see it coming, and then when you get there, it's like, wow.
See, I'm in volume 2 right now.
Just keep reading.
It's like it's more of a time thing for me at this point.
Oh yeah,
but
I don't read, so
like the things that are happening already with like just some of the twists and turns that it's taken, it's really kind of fucked what's happening to these kids.
Don't spoil it.
Oh no!
It only gets worse, is what I'm gonna say.
No, and I know where it go. I know where you're at, and I know what's happening up to that point. But I haven't read it that far, personally, because I'm not someone who cares about spoilers. But the other things I'm reading, I dived back into Batman. Most recent issue was really dope. Read Batman Damned. I love the artwork, and just kind of this conceit of just Batman dealing with Constantine, and I don't want to spoil it for the people who haven't read it yet, but it's really dope so far.
He dies.
He does not die.
I know.
I read it too. But have you seen the art style, Chip?
No, I haven't.
It's banging.
Yeah, I like it.
Wait, will say, is it the more realistic type? Like
it's like a painting.
Yeah.
It's like a painting. It's like very kind of scratchy and like,
interesting.
It's really dark. Like, it's cool as shit.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I'll even say, in a way, have you played any of the Batman games before?
That was a really interesting
we caught that out.
I know.
That's staying in there.
I was like, I'm gonna sneeze right now.
Sneeze out
I could either do this very, very like, or I can go all out. You know. So
you just shot a car out your mouth.
I know.
But back to the topic.
Yeah.
Have you ever played any of the Batman games?
No, I don't play video games.
Do you know who Scarecrow is?
Scarecrow? Yeah, I know who Scarecrow is.
Have you seen any images of him having a drug on like on Batman? So the way I look at it is it is sort of hyper realistic in a way, but it has like that sort of drag to it a little bit when in the character drawings.
Interesting.
It's really dope. And then on the Marvel side, just picked up Return of Wolverine.
Oh,
the first issue is banging. Because I'm antisocial and I was trying to avoid someone at Providence Place, I walked right by all of the variants and then found out the next day that these were out. And I'm like, oh shit, gotta get all of these. And I was able to cop 4 of the variant covers.
Hey.
Wow.
None of the ones that were really worth anything though. Like I'm probably gonna make some bread off a couple of them, but not like the $70, $80, $100 that I would have made off of the other ones that I caught them. But
I also thought that story was gonna go a different way.
I know.
You said found the variants. Like I found there were all these variants at NxC, and what I do, I grab the Whackers cover.
No, I'm not that guy. I'm gonna buy all of these. Like,
oh, so you got money.
And then what else am I reading?
What are
Just
you
kind of get back to the. There's really, I'm almost done with Get Backers.
Oh no, yeah.
I'm like, I'm just trying to finish the story at this point. I just want to be done with it.
For those who don't know, Get Backers is a great series.
Great series.
Yeah, I've been like looking for sales to just kind of pad out my collection, finish plugging holes in series that I've been purchasing over years. But in terms of American stuff, I started reading Man of Steel by Brian Michael Bendis. That was really dope. And yeah, we're definitely going to talk about Superman today.
Yes.
Oh, as we always should.
Yeah, we need to talk about Superman.
We should always talk about Batman, actually. But
and, yeah, Batman too. But the DC app. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to use it yet.
Not at all. Did you? Have you?
I have. It is worth the $8 a month.
$8 a month?
That's a lot.
Really?
$8 a month is not a lot.
Well, I wasn't gonna go with a lot, but I was surprised they have it at $8.
Well, here's the thing. you have complete access
to all of DC,
but everything. So it's not just the films and the cartoons, all of the comics.
This guy.
Like the entire canon of the comics.
Right.
A full like it's really
like
dope how they've structured it.
You're talking like someone who has money. Who's
grad student.
Who's getting paid $35. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put your business out there. You could edit that out, but
it's 40. But
shit.
I mean, what is it? Another 8 years before you're...
we won't even talk. I'll be dead by the time I get out.
But, no, and the cool thing is there are no restrictions on how much you can share your account. So me account...
No, it's no. We are not doing that. We are not promoting that.
Look.
Chip.
I'm not a shareholder at Warner, so I don't really give a damn.
So, DC, if you ever pick this up in here, we are not doing that.
We're not.
We are law-abiding citizens.
I would let you guys use it just so you can check it out. How about that?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But it's definitely dope. I got to rewatch a good portion of Batman, the animated series.
Which some would say is the best animated series.
It is
Batman.
the best superhero animated series of all time.
Yes.
There is no competition. There is no...
Maybe Justice League.
There's no debate.
Justice League.
It's better than Justice League.
Justice League sometimes got there. You got me there. It got me there.
It's some of the places, but like...
I got to finish.
If you watch these stories, like... I'll say one episode I watched, the Poison Ivy story.
Okay.
The Poison Ivy episode from the first season. I was just like, yo... I totally didn't appreciate this when I was a little kid watching this. Like, this came out, 92, 93? I was a fucking kid. I didn't know. I'm like, this is a great story to tell in 20 minutes.
I know.
It's really fantastic.
Dang, I need to rewatch it.
The storytelling they did in that show.
Yeah,
it's like
phenomenal.
You got it right.
Mature.
Like you didn't appreciate it when you were young.
Like,
you're
you don't
this is Batman. I want to watch this. When is he gonna hit somebody?
Like, they had an episode where Robin was afraid of his own shadow because of Scarecrow.
Oh, wow.
Like, every time he was in something that made his adrenaline pump,
right,
he got terrified. Like, I'm like, that is really a great mechanic. But otherwise, we'll get into DC App a little more, or in a bit, or different things you can watch on it. But I also am caught up with One Piece, and I don't know how I feel about them using time travel in that series.
But I don't think it's going to be as substantial as,
things get messy when you bring
time travel's always bad.
Spoiler alert: they go forward in time. I won't say who, but someone goes forward in time. But I don't feel like there's a way for them to go back
in time.
No, it's just more like a one-off thing. Like something happens, and
they have to go. Okay,
yeah.
Not they. There's a certain group.
Yeah.
I will break it that it's not our specific group in terms of like the main characters, but there is a group.
There's an ancillary group of characters that has moved forward in time.
Great vocab word.
So ancillary.
So we'll see how that goes. But now we're all caught up with everybody. Who checked out the Captain Marvel trailer? What did y'all think?
I did
as well. I liked it. Also, kind of a little lost because I don't know who Captain Marvel is.
True.
So maybe could you both enlighten me a little?
True.
All right. So what we're getting in this is the Captain Marvel movie, and what I loved about the trailer is that the first shot is her crashing into the Blockbuster video, which is something I wished would have happened to many Blockbuster videos every time I got a late fee.
Why? I mean, I like Blockbuster. Of course, that late fee wasn't fun.
I also had a Blockbuster card at like 13, and
wow,
and Blockbuster was probably out of business by the time you guys were in high school.
There's actually one Blockbuster left in America.
Yeah,
it's in Oregon.
It's the last one.
Also, did you have a full beard and some gray hair when you had that card?
No, because all you had to do was ask for the card, in your mother's account. Like,
that's not how it worked.
That's how I remember. I was renting stuff by myself for years.
Man, I was doing it wrong then.
But Blockbuster sucked. Anyways, she crashes into the Blockbuster, so it's in the 90s. This is we have young Sam L. Jackson, who has really looked the same since Jungle Fever.
Pulp Fiction.
He looks younger than that. He actually looks like he did in Jungle Fever when he was playing a crackhead.
Nice.
Crackhead. But basically, Captain Marvel, in this story, it's looking like she is given her powers by Marvel. She's on.
It was Jude Law, right?
Yeah.
Or we're suspecting is Jude Law.
It is Jude Law.
Confirmed.
And yeah, it's confirmed.
You heard it here first.
So
breaking news.
So she's on a Kree kind of military force, and she crash lands back on Earth. So the understanding is this is going to be her versus the Skrulls, and that's what's happening when she punches the old lady in the face in the trailer.
Yep.
Because the Skrulls are shapeshifters, and there's been multiple times over the course of Marvel's history where the Skrulls have kind of taken over the Marvel universe and just masqueraded as a bunch of people. So I feel like the Skrulls might play a bigger part in the coming films than we think right now. That's going to be kind of the gist of the story. So Captain Marvel, she flight, super strength,
so not gonna lie,
beams.
Before we continue on, I just want to make sure my question gets answered. Who is Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel is basically
good call.
A human pilot who was given the powers of a Kree warrior. So the Kree are
shapeshifters, as you mentioned. Right?
No, the Skrulls are shapeshifters. The Kree.
Sorry, I wasn't.
Remember,
get your facts right, boy.
Remember Guardians of the Galaxy?
I do.
Yeah, the Ronan the Accuser.
Yes.
His race, they are the Kree.
Ah.
And Captain Marvel is given her powers from another Kree warrior, Marvel. Her powers include flight, super strength,
energy projection. You know Rogue from X-Men? She stole Captain Marvel's powers. That's where she got some.
That's why she can fly and has permanent super strength.
In the animated
late 80s.
Oh, okay, I was about to say you're both going into a territory that I don't know as well.
The cartoon version. That's the reason why she.
They never explained it.
I think they did in one episode.
I didn't remember it, but
yeah, she was like haunted by Captain Marvel's ghost, or it was Miss Marvel at the time.
Yeah, Miss Marvel didn't have powers for a minute because of Rogue. That's the gist of who Captain Marvel is. She will be the most powerful person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Interesting.
At least on the hero side. So
more powerful than the Hulk?
Yeah. I mean...
that was a trick question. No one's more powerful than the Hulk.
There's a lot of people more powerful than the Hulk, but...
I don't know. Do we...
Chip,
I'm offended viscerally.
Before we continue, I just want to know, Chip,
physically,
mentally, what's your reasoning behind that?
The whole premise of the Hulk is the madder he gets, the stronger he gets. Do you know why there aren't any Hulk movies out there?
The Hulk was rip-roaring pissed and got his ass handed to him by Thanos. I don't want to hear anything else about how strong the Hulk is.
I'm just saying the reason why it's so hard to write for the Hulk is because his powers make him impossibly powerful. So like there would be no challenge. There would be no one who could challenge the Hulk. That's why he's so hard to write for. That's why we don't get a fully developed Hulk movie.
Well, the reason we don't get a fully developed Hulk movie is because Universal sucks and they have not been able to make one. And I think the way they're using the Hulk is good right now. Let's just leave that there.
MCU Hulk or comic book Hulk?
I'm talking about Hulk, the entity that is the Hulk.
The comic book Hulk is drastically stronger than the MCU Hulk.
Yes.
The comic book Hulk is basically immortal.
All right.
He can regenerate. Like, he's ridiculously
He can regenerate?
He can breathe underwater.
What?
Like,
white?
You're joking?
I'm not.
Yeah, you can't kill him by conventional means.
He broke a planet.
He broke a planet.
He broke a planet.
You can't kill him by conventional means. Like,
reading homework. Read World War Hulk.
Oh, that's what Ragnarok was based off? Or the design for Hulk?
Part of like
I know it's not word for
word.
In
It's
very loose. I did hear about that.
In a very loose. They took one part of that story and put it in Ragnarok. But the Hulk is impossibly strong. And the Hulk has been defeated by a lot of people because the downfall of the Hulk is also that he is impossibly strong. And once you kind of get control of him, it's like, all right, shut it down. But
I feel like the weakness of the Hulk is that Bruce Banner is a part of the Hulk.
This is true, but also
you bring out Bruce Banner and he's basically a puny human.
But in talking about the MCU, the Hulk, got his ass handed to him. We watched it on screen of him catch a 2-piece from Thanos. Thanos hit him with what? 3-4 hit combo, and he was afraid the rest of the movie. Afraid.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Where was he?
He was hiding in Bruce Banner.
All I remember is him saying, "Hulk, come out," and Hulk said, "No." All Hulk knew was, I'm not fucking with him. Like, I know when I've been beaten.
Also, did you guys hear the theory? I know if you guys remember from the Infinity War trailer how you see Hulk running, they think that's actually like in the maybe not alternate universe, but that's actually what's going to happen in this new movie coming up.
Maybe. Who knows?
The original Infinity War trailer?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know how you see Hulk running in
they
the
throw
in the
you
background
off.
when they're in Wakanda, but then it's actually Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster, right? Hulkbuster Iron Man suit.
Oh, true.
So they like, what if that's actually when they fix the timeline and then they actually are ready to beat Thanos?
But we'll see.
The noose.
The noose.
But yeah, so are we all excited to see Captain Marvel though after seeing the trailer?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm interested. So. I don't know her very well as a hero, but I'm interested to see how, because I mean, remember at the end of Infinity War when SLJ the Great clicked the little button and it said like Captain Marvel's
yeah, he hit
logo.
her on the two-way.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how she fits into the Infinity War timeline, and more interestingly, like how is he so sure, SLJ the Great, how is he so sure that Captain Marvel was also not taken away from the world like half of the rest of the.
Well, we'll find out in March. So this week we have another movie coming out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I know which one you're gonna talk about.
We
Venom.
are Venom.
Let's talk about it.
I'm excited.
No,
You're excited?
I'm excited.
I don't know.
this movie looks terrible.
Y'all are trash.
I didn't even say anything bad about it.
You are trash.
I didn't.
You're trash.
This movie looks terrible, man.
I'm cool.
I mean,
Y'all are trash.
I feel like it could go either way.
It's
I
not
just
going to
feel
go
like-
either way.
Well, when I say either way, it could either be pretty bad or really bad, or it could be, it's okay.
like,
I know we've had our gripes about this, but let's just have an open mind. Like, I feel like we will taint our viewing of the movie if we walk in and we're like, this is going to be trash. Let's see how it can redeem itself.
I'm going to go in with as much of an open mind as I can.
Mm-hmm.
My conceit is that you do not get Venom without Spider-Man, ever. Venom and Spider-Man are so inextricably linked that this movie, even just kind of, I feel like what Sony is trying to do is hold on to the license.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing. But if this movie fails, all of their expanded Spider-Verse things without Spider-Man, because none of them are going to have Spider-Man in them, are just going to go away. And they're going to eventually have to just give in and say, all right, Marvel, here. Because
I don't know. I have hope. I just want to see another superhero movie. I guess is that too bad?
I mean,
is that wrong to say?
but we're getting into the Spider-Verse in December.
Which I am excited for that movie.
Like,
Okay. Wait, how are y'all excited for the Anna? I'm excited too. Don't get me wrong, but how can you say you're excited for that one, but you're not excited for Venom?
There's two reasons why I'm excited.
Venom?
Okay.
the same
For Venom?
because you want to know
For Venom?
No.
But you want to know who's in it? Spider-Man.
An animated Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man,
nonetheless.
and then Spider-Gwen. That's
Not just Spider-Man. There's two Spider-Men
That's true.
and
Miles Morales.
Spider-Gwen.
Shout out to the homie.
Like, there's no better way. Like, the reality is animation isn't used as often as it could be.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't think of animation as a lesser medium.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the reality is you can do a hell of a lot more animated than you can live action.
Yes.
And I can't hinge my hopes and dreams on Tom Hardy's acting ability. Because he can growl
But
his...
he's Tom freaking Hardy.
Tom Hardy's actually a good actor.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
Do you disagree?
Do you think he's going to make this movie... Like, here's the thing. Eddie Brock, on his own, has never been an interesting enough character.
All right, I'll give you that.
To just exist in the Spider-Verse without Peter Parker, without a natural foil. And the reason that they're trying to shoehorn this is to keep the license. This is about nothing else but Sony being able to keep Spider-Man. Tom Hardy is not going to be enough to carry this movie to the promised land.
That's what you think. But he's also Tom freaking Hardy.
What was the name of the last Batman movie that Christopher Nolan did?
Oh, the Dark Knight Rises. That's what it was, right?
Now, he was a more interesting Bane than we got in Batman and Robin. Much more interesting. He was more like Bane from the comics.
He also was a Mexican.
But
that's true. That is true. I feel like that was the whole point of being.
But it was all like the movie also took a really weird turn where it kind of misdirected instead of just making Talia al Ghul the villain from the jump.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like she's the main bad guy. Oh, they're gonna blow up the city. Oh, we have a bunch of people just fighting in the streets.
I do have to agree though that the first part of that movie, sensational,
great,
sensational,
phenomenal.
The last part,
until after he broke his back.
Yeah,
it's just like yeah, okay.
I wanted to see that back broke.
Yeah, it was great to see.
Back. Yeah, but
it was great to see. But so we got Venom into the Spider-Verse, and then so I guess this is a good time to segue into the DC universe a little bit.
Wait, but did y'all see the other trailer that came out this week?
Oh, what other trailer?
What trailer?
Wait. Let me just relish in this. There's a trailer that came out that y'all didn't see.
Can you just get on with it? Because I don't know
no. This rarely happens, y'all.
Okay, Chip,
Harry Potter.
You beat us.
Oh my god.
Harry Potter. That actually good trailer. I enjoyed that.
That actually looked really good.
No, I'm talking about the Phoenix.
Oh. Okay.
All right. While we're on the subject of Marvel,
I did watch that.
Let's savage this.
Did you see that?
I did watch
it. Okay.
This movie is never coming out.
It said January 2019.
And then they announced the following day that the movie was delayed until June.
Okay.
We are now 2 years late on this movie. The movie was supposed to come out this past summer, right? Mm-hmm. Then they said, we're going actually I'm going to pull up the meme that a friend sent me because he and I were debating this because I seriously just think that they're just going to keep pushing the football out until people forget about this movie.
I don't think so.
I just think that we're going to get a Phoenix
You could
movie.
see from the footage they have in the trailer, they have
a movie.
They
have a movie.
I don't know if they have a movie, but they have something substantial already.
The new X-Men Dark Phoenix will arrive November 2nd, 2018. That was in 2017. In March. Actually, we need to reshoot some things. It'll come out February 14th, 2019. 2 days ago. Here's a trailer and multiple posters confirming it's a February 2018 release date.
2018.
The day after. Let's release it in June. The poster trailer already said February, but nah.
That's embarrassing.
And I'm almost willing to bet that they're going to delay that movie again. That movie's not coming out.
I can't see why they would, though, because of the names they have attached to it.
Who cares? Like, the reality is, if you look at this movie trailer, it is basically the same movie that was The Last Stand, just a little bit cleaner. It's basically The Last Stand.
I don't.
Why do they always go back to the Dark Phoenix saga?
Because Bryan Singer, I don't know why, Bryan Singer has a hard-on for certain things in the X-Men canon, but not anything else. Mm-hmm. He loves Wolverine. Wolverine makes him cream his pants every time he hears the word.
Wow.
That's a big claim.
That is a big claim.
Wolverine.
How many times?
Bryan Singer.
Who is
Wolverine.
Creamed.
So he loves Wolverine. He loves Magneto and Professor X in that relationship. Mm-hmm. He, I don't know when, developed this obsession with Mystique.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And then, facts. And then the Dark Phoenix saga. The Dark Phoenix saga is so much more than what it was presented in The Last Stand and in this upcoming movie. Mm-hmm. Because if you've read the comics, Jean Grey was not born the Phoenix. It is an intergalactic, it is a cosmic entity, and their refusal to touch the Shi'ar Empire, which plays into that story. Their refusal to use any of those characters, which plays into that story. And their desire to make everything about this one act, it just kills the franchise. This is the official end of the Fox X-Men franchise, and they don't want to blow it. But the reality is, they will. This looks like This looks like a younger version of the X-Men and remake of X-Men: The Last Stand. And for the life of me, I can't understand why they want to do this so bad, because it's like, why they did this. It's like, do you know how many characters, how many mutants exist, how many interesting stories that you don't even have to use from the canon? that you could tell about these characters. And he is, Bryan Singer has been so keyed in to certain characters that everybody else kind of falls by the wayside. And I mean, I hated Apocalypse. I feel like the characterizations of every one of those mutants was off. Like, I've been watching and reading X-Men since I was a little kid. I've never seen Cyclops as anything more than a wet blanket, stick in the mud. And then all of a sudden, Apocalypse, he's the cool guy.
Well, with stuff like that, I think, you have to take some liberties in changing up or reinterpreting the characters. Otherwise, like you mentioned, like if Cyclops has always been a wet blanket, who's to say he couldn't be this cool guy?
But, well, here's the thing. Why?
Well, because it's to change it up.
I feel like we talked about this earlier, how like when you make a movie, you don't necessarily need to stick with the source material, like each movie is an opportunity to reinvent the characters, basically have a new generation grow up with a new form of that character to look up to.
But if you're going to always revert back to the same story points over and over again, like they're not going to revert back to Wolverine anymore because they can't. But up until this point, it's been, all right, we can't use Wolverine, Magneto, and Xavier. And now the whole plot of this movie is going to be Jean Grey losing control and finally letting loose.
And then Magneto and Xavier helping out, saving the day.
Yeah, it's just stupid. And my hope is that this movie fails so Marvel gets it back quicker and they can just say, all right, scrap this and we're going to start over and we'll do other things.
Well, I think that's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to happen. We already know.
I want to say I want it to fail.
The X-Men are going to get integrated into the existing MCU, but this movie, I just don't think it's coming out. The fact that it's been moved so many times, like they changed the release date the day after releasing a bunch of material, including a trailer saying it's coming out in February. Let's make it June. And before you know, it'll be Christmas 2019. And then Disney's just going to walk in and say, go home, you're drunk. Everybody, relax. This is never coming out. You don't have to watch this. It'll be like a direct-to-TV movie.
No.
Oh, I can't imagine
It'll be a $100 million direct-to-TV movie.
If you're willing to place a bet on that, I don't think that's going to happen.
But as evidence of the fact that we both forgot about it, that tells you how relevant that movie is.
Dang.
Like, I forgot that it came out this week.
I just wanted to relish in the moment.
Thinking about it.
I saw it and I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, when it comes out, because I'm saying it's gonna come out. When it comes out, I'm gonna go watch it just because I've watched all the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
And you know what?
February 2020.
To me, I mean, they don't have to be great. I just enjoy them for what they are. That's what I like about.
I've wanted a good X-Men movie for a long time.
From your viewpoint of having kind of grown up with them, I can understand why you want a good X-Men movie. Like, that point does get across.
First one, good. Second one, great. Third one, trash. Wolverine, the first one, trash. Which it didn't have to be.
Which one was the first one? Is that Origins?
Origins, yep.
And then there's another one.
The Wolverine wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
And then Logan.
Great.
Amazing.
Awesome.
First Class, good.
You just thought it was good?
I just thought it was good.
I thought it was pretty great.
I don't remember it.
Days of Future Past.
I enjoyed
for what it was.
I enjoyed what they did there.
It was good for what it was.
Also,
Apocalypse, trash.
Big fan of Wolverine though, so maybe that's why.
But
that was the one where they went back in time and yes.
And they also made the announcement of the Gambit movie is going to be a rom-com. Another movie. That movie's never coming out. It's never being made. Channing Tatum wakes up every morning, does 100,000 push-ups, and then says, "We're gonna make the Gambit movie today, right?" And then Fox says, "Yeah, buddy." Like
they just call him
Fox.
Yeah, buddy.
Fox is talking to Channing Tatum like a deadbeat dad at this point. Like, hey, he's like, "Dad, are we gonna make the Gambit movie now?" "Sure, I'm going to the store."
Don't do
my
that.
God.
No.
We know he's never coming back.
Like,
that's terrible.
Marvel's never making that solo Gambit movie. It doesn't need to be.
But what if they do?
Yeah,
I will say I'm not for the rom-com part. Maybe not that excited, but I am interested to see where they go.
Disney already has the rights, so by the time they even get this movie into production, like they're saying they're going to get it in production, but this movie has been in development hell for about 3 or 4, maybe 5 years now.
Would you watch it?
No,
I would.
I would watch it.
I don't want.
I like Gambit.
I'm a big Gambit fan. Gambit is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
But the problem is,
He's got a tattoo of Gambit. If you didn't know.
You have a tattoo
no,
of Gambit? Oh.
I've thought about it.
Really?
I've thought about it.
I was joking, but
I've
wow.
dead ass thought about it because Gambit's a badass character.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I feel like with Gambit, they shoehorned him into Origins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
And he was just kind of lame in that. And
Wait, he was in Origins?
He was.
yeah,
He helps
it's
Logan.
good
and
that
then,
you don't remember it.
Yeah, he helps Logan, and then there's a point where Logan gets shot, and he's like, "Hey, man, you still gonna come?" And he's like, "I don't know you," but he still helps get the rest of the students out. And yeah,
Like
students was actually the wrong word. The mutants.
It's so funny because like I'm replaying that scene in my mind, and there's just like
You
a
can't see his
black.
face?
There's a black
I'm pretty sure he
figure.
had an accent.
Good,
He had
good.
an accent, right, in the movie.
Yeah, they tried to force it. It was really weird. Like, I feel like you need a hardcore Cajun to play Gambit.
But like, do you see? I feel like you could look at Deadpool. Like,
But if you're going to
Deadpool was trash in Origins, and now you have two movies that people could argue like.
I mean, Deadpool 2 was just okay.
Wow.
It was just okay. I mean, it wasn't nearly as good
I
as
thought
the
it was
first one.
good.
It was good.
I would agree. It's not. I didn't think it was as good as
nearly
the first one, but I thought it was still good.
Because I feel like they were just kind of treading on the same ground, and they were kind of forcing the whole Cable thing. But
That movie also low-key made me laugh so many times just because they also had some things from Logan, and then they also used the music from Logan in the movie, and I couldn't.
But Gambit is a character where Gambit operates well within the team. Now, if you're gonna tell a Gambit story about him with the Thieves Guild, I might be down for that, but we'll see. So we had some other big news going on. Someone is apparently leaving the DC universe.
So sad.
So what do y'all think about that? Henry Cavill out as Superman. What's next for the franchise? How do you think they can fix it?
I really don't know what they're gonna do because you can't just like mid build scrap your Superman. What like?
I mean, they did it with Batman.
Who says?
Batman went from being Michael Keaton to Val Kilmer to George Clooney in the span of 3 movies. Now, I'm not saying that Forever or Batman and Robin were good by any stretch of the imagination, but you can.
It's just tacky.
I mean, my problem is the problem with this Superman has been that they haven't done anything to make him Superman. Like,
What?
Zack Snyder's Superman.
No.
Zack Snyder's Superman.
You can't say that they've done nothing to make him Superman.
But here's the thing. Zack Snyder's Superman is so dark that you can...
I love it.
No, but here's the thing. Why does Superman need to be Batman? The reason that those characters have always
Superman is a boring character, though. That's the thing.
But here's the thing. He represents the flip side of Batman. He's light side. He's hope. And when they finally kind of... I was like, at the end of Justice League, the most relatable moment was when he was finally laughing. I'm like, oh, look at him having a sense of humor. Finally, after he came in and saves the friggin' day. And I was watching some of the older Superman cartoons, and I'm like, these, the one from the 90s, I'm like, this Superman is not terribly boring. Like, if you found the right villain and you didn't use the guy who played Mark Zuckerberg to play his supervillain.
I thought that was an odd choice.
I liked what's his name?
He was Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg.
It was too much.
He's just an odd character.
It was
eccentric
weird,
and
man.
odd, very Lex Luthor-esque.
They were trying to get him to be Gene Hackman Lex Luthor, like Superman, like the old Superman movies.
Oh, okay.
It was just weird. But if you did a Superman movie with, which they're probably not going to do now because now they have a hard on for Supergirl, and they're making 3011 Joker movies, which, sidebar, the Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Did y'all see that?
It looks kind of dope.
Did y'all see that?
I did. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying dope, but I'm interested.
I'm curious now. I'm at least interested. You have my attention.
The makeup choice was very interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I was so used to
over the top,
not like, I mean, like the in the cartoons, the Joker's face is like white. It doesn't look painted on, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's white.
Right.
And then we had the Suicide Squad Joker, who also had white, like pale face, a pale face. People didn't like that. I was like, that's Joker, you know. But now they're going with this like paint, like he's an actual clown. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's
what
they did with Heath Ledger.
But people need to stop comparing things to Heath Ledger because we will always be disappointed.
But that's the natural thing. Like, we're going to compare it to Heath Ledger's
But
Joker.
Heath Ledger's Joker was also so much more because he didn't just have like the painted on face. He had the scars. He had the hair. He had like everything about him was dark.
But I relate to 3 Jokers: Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, and Jack Nicholson. Mainly because I saw the movie when I was like 3 years old. But those 3 kind of define the Joker for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can find something, the madness of just the, wanting the world to burn like Heath Ledger's Joker, with kind of the zaniness and like the really kind of thoughtful planning of a Mark Hamill with kind of the smooth, kind of just downright crook aspects of Jack Nicholson, I feel like that's where you get me. And Joaquin Phoenix, he might nail this. But yeah, just back to Superman and Henry Cavill, I do think that you can make an interesting Superman movie, but let's just reflect on Man of Steel. He walked around the whole movie just looking morose, and then all of a sudden he's like, I can do some good with this. Superman. And then like, or
okay,
even
this goes back to why I think the Hulk is hard to write for, right? I think that with Superman, you have someone who is incredibly, incredibly powerful, and you're asking them to be relatable, and B, like do things like have some sort of struggle. Like you can't do that with someone who's
intimate.
That's why, and I think that's why I think like the fact that they made him a little darker, a little like I'm struggling with like where I fit in this world, like this world that asks me to be this perfect person, but I'm still human. Like I loved that aspect of that gave him this level of relatability and like this struggle that I knew he was going to overcome. But there are times when I'm like, are you going to overcome it?
But now we've had 2 situations with him. He has now experienced the life of trying to figuring that out.
The death.
Figuring that out. Dying after he figured it out and had found love or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's come back to life, and in Justice League he had lightened up a little bit. And now he's like just Metropolis's hero. So what happens if you put in a parasite? A character who can literally steal his powers and makes him work for it.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you use Mongol? Someone who can match his strength.
Mm-hmm.
But, various storylines. Why not try and get in Brainiac?
You need to go. You would need to go out of this world.
Cyborg Superman. Like you can go so many directions with it that I don't see it being a huge hurdle to come up with an interesting Superman movie.
His rogues gallery is just like is not as I would argue that it's not as complex and as interesting as some like. So you have to supplement that.
But if you're looking for the pathos of Batman's rogue gallery, you're just not going to get it, because Superman deals with things in brute force. Same thing I've said on here a bunch of times about the Batman movie. Like, you need a Batman movie that shows him being a detective for once. It shows him using his brain. But Superman, what would happen if he had to face someone who could literally drain him of his powers? If you watch the original Superman, the animated series from the 90s, and you watch the episode with Parasite, I was like, yo, this is actually really dope. What's going to happen if he faces, Metallo? Someone who has kryptonite in his chest and can like completely weaken it. I'm like, and try and lighten up a little bit. Let Lex Luthor get his giant mecha that he's gonna fight Superman in for all eternity. That's like, dude, you're like kind of Iron Man, but you're not. You're like poor man's Iron Man. What would happen to Superman if Lex Luthor somehow gained political power? Like, these are the kind of situations you have to put him in, because he's like,
we kind of know what would happen.
He's a human. I know I can like literally snap his head off, but
then that right there, you just presented a moral argument, and I feel like that's what the dilemma that Mark Snyder was trying to present, and
Zack Snyder.
Zack. I'm sorry.
Points deducted.
No, so like I agree he didn't do it the best. I agree there were problems. There are problems with the Man of Steel franchise. But I'm so shocked that people are like, this Superman is too dark. This Superman is too. I'm like, no, this Superman is the most real thing that I've seen since. Like, think back to the Superman. When was it? Early 2000s.
I never even saw that movie.
I didn't see that movie either.
I just didn't care enough to go see it.
Yeah. Like, I remember, like, as a kid, I was like, oh, Superman. But the entire time I was like, like, there's nothing. There's no
substance.
There was fighting and punching, and I was like, yeah. But, like, I mean, I was a kid, so that's all I really needed. But if I was to watch that today, I'd be like,
but it's also
there's
because
nothing. Like, Superman is just as a character is flawed because he is too perfect.
But you're looking for, pathos, and you're looking for like a deep story. If you're just gonna make a popcorn movie about Superman hitting some shit, lighten it up just a bit.
But they weren't trying to make a Superman movie where they were trying to make a complex Superman, and I appreciate them for that. That's gold star for the attempt.
That's what I was thinking. Like, while I agree that it had its problems, but what I think they did at least an okay job, or even a good job with, was making him somewhat grounded, so that way you can kind of get an idea of what it'd be like, as an alien.
Yeah,
alien
like
superpower living here on Earth, and how
you saw his family. Like, you saw like the day that his dad died, like how much of an impact that was.
I was just gonna say that I thought that was a terrible sequence. I was just like, so did he die in the tornado, or did he get hit by some shit? But I get your point.
Like, you need to, like, I feel like every superhero has like that defining moment, or like a childhood that like really pushes them into the life of heroism, right? You never really get to see that with Superman. You always just know he was an alien, raised in Kansas, goes to Metropolis, starts fighting for the American way and the American ideal, blah, 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 blah. You never really get to see, as a kid, he wanted to punch that guy, but his dad was like, no, with great power comes great with Uncle Ben. But
really, you're mixing up your franchises here.
No,
man.
I'm not.
We know what you're saying. We pick up what you're putting down.
I was trying. It was on purpose. But yeah, no. Like, I think it was. I'm just sad. I'm just shocked, appalled, sad.
I'm actually not shocked that he's leaving though. I think that they're saying that it's not official, but I'm like, he's out. Like,
his foot's already out the door.
Like worst case scenario, he has mentally left the building. He's just showing up at the meetings at this point. Like, we're gonna do something with you really soon. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm about to be over here doing The Witcher for Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think as a random choice as he is for that, I think he might do pretty well.
I mean, Netflix is kind of Netflix. Everybody talks about how Netflix is the future of entertainment. I'm like, Netflix just flushes a bunch of money into various projects, and they're like, we just made 100 projects. Law of averages, one of them got to work. Because
I could see that.
Because there's no quality control at this point.
Yeah, and there's also, they don't, if I recall right, they don't really release their stats, right?
They don't. So nobody really knows how many people have watched something. Like,
and you know how well something else is doing.
But it says 98% recommended.
Right, but it's recommended to you.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not recommended to everyone.
So nobody really knows. Like, if you had concrete figures, X amount of people stream this in this period of time, you might be able to make that argument, but nobody really knows. So we'll see with The Witcher. And speaking of Netflix, just kind of I guess will be our last topic for the day. Avatar. The original creators are teaming up with Netflix to produce a live action version. I'm with it.
I am too.
I'm worried.
You're worried.
I'm worried.
Please elaborate.
I just
before you start, we had whitewashing, a brown bad guy, which was problematic in and of itself, and the movie was just so god awful.
You mean the original live action movie?
Yeah, the original.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Right, not to be confused with this up and coming new one.
He just shit all over that franchise.
I just think I'm just worried. And I'm worried for two reasons. I'm worried because you like it and you like it. And so I have to be the one to not like it so we have a conversation. But I'm also worried because, like, this was my childhood, y'all. You know? Like, you said it too. There are things you do in animation because you can't do it well in live action. And I feel like Avatar is something hard to pull off. Bending is like, how do you pull that off without it being like CG, like overly cartoony? But it already is like it started off as a cartoon, and I feel like the story was best told there. And then also it's like it just ended on a good note, and I don't need to see it again.
This is true. But the CGI in the original movie was not something I had a problem with. Like, the CGI bending wasn't something I necessarily had an issue with. I didn't think it was that terrible. I feel like you could, you
got a passing grade?
Like, you got a passing grade. Like, you can, if you expanded it a little bit, but I feel like you can get the kung fu right. You can get the martial arts piece right? You can cast actual people of color in the roles. Like, Ong, who was clearly a white kid. It was just like,
my name is Ong. What I don't understand is, did they not watch the show? Because in the show they clearly said Aang, and he kept going on and calling himself Ong, and I'm just confused.
Fair.
I was very confused when I sat down.
We were all confused.
I think he was just trying to.
It's just not a good movie.
They took some liberties with the source material. I
didn't need them to. I needed them to.
Liberties.
I was going to say something problematic, but
wow.
I mean, it definitely was It was problematic in a bunch of places, but I think step one, casting people of color, not making the brown people the bad guy by virtue of this random light versus dark.
I think the fact that they are using the original creators, I'm more happy about that, because I don't know. Did y'all watch Korra?
Yeah,
I did.
Korra was bold, especially the end of Korra. Did y'all see the end of Korra?
Yes.
I'm still working my way through it.
The end of Korra I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was very shocked. I was happy that like they went in that kind of direction, and it was the fact that they went in that direction on a Nickelodeon, which is like
it's a kids network.
So
yeah.
I'll say spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I know Sean doesn't care for spoilers, so I think you can share.
I can?
Yes.
Okay, so end of Korra, you see Korra and Asami.
Yeah.
Asami.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
been a while
remember.
since I've watched it.
It has been a while.
But yes, we'll go with that until proven wrong. So if you want to call us out on it, please do.
Please, yeah. I think her name was Asami. Could someone look it up?
Yeah, but continue talking like if it is Asami.
I feel very bad if it's not Asami, though. But yeah, so basically, at the end, Korra saves the day. They're at this party, just celebrating all of Korra's accomplishments.
Confirmed Asami.
It is Asami, okay. And Asami walks up and like she was like they just are talking about the past year, really, where Korra was out of commission for a while, and Asami was the only one that she talked to actively. Mm-hmm. And before they were kind of like enemies because they were fighting over the same guy, and there's this like switch in the relationship where the two of them were very, very friendly, and towards the end they choose to go on a solo backpacking
Backpacking.
Backpacking.
Yes.
Backpacking.
Yeah.
Trip in the spirit world, the two of them alone. And what you see is the two of them walk into the light of the spirit world and turn and face each other, and it looked like they're about to kiss. And you're just like, wait, am I is this is on television? My mom is watching like behind me. Like how does
Chip Weekend?
Like this is different. This is different. Not saying it's bad. It was very, very bold. And the fact that they were able to do that on Nickelodeon, which I feel like, I don't know if Nickelodeon is a conservative channel provider, but I feel like they are an establishment and they would have caught a lot of flack for doing stuff that is like, you know, like too one way yeah. But now that they're on Netflix, now they're moving to Netflix, I feel like they have proven themselves to be people who are progressive in their mindset, and so we shouldn't worry about, the whitewashing of.
Well, I think the reality is that, dollars and cents, they were not going to let this franchise die.
That's true.
It made too much money when it was on. It was too popular. There's still, and everything is a cinematic universe these days, so they wanted to cash in.
I feel like they could have done it a different way, though. They could have brought another Avatar,
which would have been cool,
into Netflix.
Would have been cool, but I think that, Netflix is in the business of kind of printing money and handing it out. Like, I'm a big advocate of us coming together, coming up with some bullshit to write a script about, writing said script, and then going to Netflix and saying, make this, and it'll be about nothing. And Netflix will be like, $100 million, there you go. Which is what Netflix seems to be doing. They're giving everybody checks. Except for, people who would actually make really good shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all we can do is hope. And hope that it comes out well. And who knows at this point? It's still pretty early. They're saying it's in development. We will see what that means. For Netflix, development really means that it's going to take like 6 to 9 months for them to put it together and put it out. I just hope it's not terribly long.
Of a series?
Yeah, I hope it... I can't do the 13, 14. Like,
wait, we think it's gonna be a series?
It's gonna be a series. It's not gonna be a movie.
Oh,
it's a series.
Lord. That explains that. That opens it up for me. I thought it was gonna be a movie.
No,
but
man.
It's gotta be a series, and it's gotta be half-hour episodes.
And I just don't know what they're gonna like. You're gonna the thing about the Avatar series was it took 3 seasons for Aang to grow and mature. How are you going to do that? Again, with less time, basically.
Yeah.
And one would assume not as funny.
Probably not.
Or there might be some humor sprinkled into it, but I don't think.
Unless it's not like, I don't know if the specifics are out. I don't know if it's a complete remake.
The specifics aren't available yet, but
unless they do like the years between Aang and Korra. Then maybe I'm like, okay,
well, you have an adult. Story? What's the story? You now have peace between the Fire Nation and the other 3 nations. Aang trying to kind of single-handedly recreate Airbenders, but
he fails.
Oh, I didn't get that far into Korra.
Oh,
but it was only one of them, so I could only assume that he was going to fail either way. But I'm just wondering where you go with it, story-wise.
Mm-hmm.
If they go a shot-for-shot remake, then I think it'll fail. If they take... I feel like that first image might have just been... It could very well have been concept art or storyboard. Because it didn't look that impressive. It was just like, here's Appa.
Yep.
And that's all we got. So it could be Aang. It could be someone else. So I think the best odds right here are just to wait and see. So before we go, what is everyone looking forward to? I know me, I'm looking forward to Daredevil season 3.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's coming out soon.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're going back to kind of just being gritty and brutal. I'm looking forward to that.
I would even say that Daredevil is probably the best show out of all the
easily
Netflix heroes.
But and then in terms of everything else, I'm looking forward to the Promised Neverland anime. I don't know exactly when it's coming out. Know it off the top of my head, but it's
probably January or April.
And then
that was a big range.
Yeah, that's huge range.
That's usually when they come out.
That's a long time away. But My Hero One Justice, that's dropping soon.
Yes.
The video game. And what's the next video game that's dropping? Oh, Soul Calibur 6. So I'm looking forward to those.
It'll be an interesting end of the year in terms of comics, anime, video games.
Yeah, I've already been bogged down with a lot of good music. So.
Oh yeah, music too.
Oh yeah, this weekend alone was just crazy. But
Chib, any birthday plans?
There's a dinner tonight.
Wow.
Nice.
What's tonight? What's the date?
The 30th.
There you go.
Yeah. So what are we? But what are you guys looking forward to in terms of content genre?
Man, I mean the new My Hero season that's eventually gonna come out.
Is season 3 done already?
Season 3 is done, and they already gave a teaser for season 4.
Dang. When is the new season coming
out? This last one came out in April, so maybe around the same time.
Oh,
maybe
shit.
June.
So much time.
I know. We got some months to wait, but it'll be worth it.
Mm.
And the My Hero movie, if you have not watched that already, would recommend. It is also on the internet. That's all I will say. I'll watch it in theaters, is also what I will say.
Yeah, but the limited American run is ending today, so.
There you go.
And today
it's actually ending
September
Tuesday.
30th. Oh, really?
Yeah.
The 2nd, actually.
Yep, October 2nd. That's when it's ending.
Depending on when this drops, you guys should go and check it out.
You should. It's in some form of format.
What are you thinking about? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to getting back to my American roots this next season of my life. American comics, American comics.
Great time to do it. X-Men Black is dropping October.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the new Uncanny X-Men coming out in November. Return of Wolverine, and then they're doing some really great stuff over at DC. So
very excited.
Great time.
Very excited.
So, all that said, thanks for joining us for another episode of Nerds by Culture. I'm Sean.
I am Joaquin.
I am Chib.
And we're out. Peace.